Good evening. I'm Marlin Nabors, and I'm here with my husband, Jonathan Knight. We're plaintiffs in Glad's lawsuit challenging DOMA. And just to be clear, this Jonathan Knight is not the Jonathan Knight from New Kids on the Block. But he is my husband, and we just celebrated our 4th wedding anniversary last week. Our pairing seems unlikely on the surface. I grew up in Flint, Michigan, and was on the National Honor Society and the debate team. Jonathan may be a California native, but grew up on a farm in rural Indiana. Through most of my life, I felt the pain of living at that awkward intersection of being both Black and gay. I came out in college, but wasn't sure there was a place for me in the gay community. By contrast, Jonathan came from a strict religious background and didn't even view gay as an option in his life. When we met at a coffee house for our first date, there was lots to talk about. Jonathan had a quiet intellect, a slow Southern drawl, and a quiet way about him that immediately drew me in. And I guess he saw something he liked in me too. Over the next few years, our relationship deepened and grew. We found our strengths and weaknesses so complementary together, and we made a whole. But because we were two Midwestern boys, we never thought marriage was a real option. Then came Glad's historic win in the Goodrich case. Suddenly, life together as a married couple was possible, something we could envision for ourselves. It made us begin to talk about what marriage actually meant. It turns out it wasn't about the politics or even the gifts. It was about us. So one evening, we had a private ceremony and an understated reception at our apartment in Brighton. We didn't think much about marriage again until we met a nice woman at H&R Block who prepared our taxes that first year. Gets better. She opened our eyes by showing us what our federal income taxes would have been if we had been able to file jointly as a married couple. And what a shock. It never occurred to us that the federal government would punish us for being a gay married couple. There was an invisible tax that applied only to our marriage and not to opposite-sex married couples. Still, we settled into newly married life like any other couple. We bought our first house in Hyde Park in 2008 and brought a gorgeous corgi puppy named Peppa into our home. Right? She's the best. Jonathan's father, a former United Aircraft mechanic, helped us fix up our house, and I was so proud when Jonathan went back to school to complete his degree. And when I got the terrible news that my sister had been killed in a car accident, Jonathan drove me all night to Michigan to be with my family. To us, our marriage seemed so average, so exceedingly normal. So it's surprising to think that the government singles out our union and treats us so differently. Since our marriage, we've paid about $3,000 more in taxes than a similarly situated newlywed couple. Since we joined the case, some of our friends have asked if this was only about paying additional taxes, if it was only about the money. While that's important, and it would help us out, the case is about so much more to us. It's about respecting our commitment and our marriage the same way everyone else's is respected. It's about believing that our country can do better than a system of first and second-class marriages. As we've shared our story as plaintiffs in the case, it's given us a glimpse into our future should DOMA remain. Listening to our fellow plaintiffs like Betty Jo and Joanne, and Al and Jim, has only made us worry more about issues like Social Security and health care, issues that don't impact us now, but will as we grow old together. And our participation in the case has been a wake-up call to our friends. Peter and Todd are very worried now that they've adopted 2 boys, and Josh and Fabio wonder what will happen if Fabio's visa doesn't get extended. At the forefront of it all is GLAD. Winning at the district court level was incredibly exciting, but we know the case will be appealed. That's a sobering reality. Still, through it all, Jonathan and I have had an amazing experience. We're so honored to be plaintiffs in this historic case, and we feel not only that the strategy and the smarts of the GLAD's attorneys, that's present, but we also feel their support and concern for all of us. We're on a journey, and together, we will show the nation how everyone in our community is impacted by DOMA. Gay and lesbian married couples, young and old, black and white, all of us and all of you deserve a future we can plan for and count on as married couples and as a family. That's the promise of this country, and that is a promise we intend to hold the government to. Thank you very much.